Okay, good evening, everyone. So today we will start with the AWS. So today is our first class on the AWS classes. In the last sessions, we have seen what are the topics we are going to cover and basics about like what is the cloud computing. So all these things we covered, right? So if any of you guys are today is the first session, just contact your admin. They can share the recorded videos of the previous demo sessions, so that you can get clarity on like what all the topics we are going to cover. And but today is the first session on the actual AWS classes. So we will start with the basics of the AWS. What is AWS and what exactly they are going to provide, and how they can fulfill the requirements, like whatever the commitments they are going to provide you, how they will fulfill all the commitments. Those things we can see, and if time permits, then we can see our first Amazon free tier account also. Okay, so first thing, like what is the AWS? Like there's a cloud provider, right? Like we have a lot of cloud providers available in the market. AWS is one of the leading cloud provider which is available in the market, and the competitors are like Microsoft's Azure, Google Cloud, and there are many more, right? But always whenever we talk about the cloud, we will mention these three clouds only, because they captured the majority of the market and everything. And the AWS, I said like AWS is a cloud provider. What exactly the cloud means? What is the meaning of a cloud? Transfer data? No, because without having the cloud also we can transfer the data, right? So if I have a pen drive, I can copy the data from my laptop to pen drive. So there is no cloud involved, just that's a data transfer. Cloud is, or a cloud computing is nothing but someone else's computer. Like instead of using or instead of maintaining my own computer, I am going to use some third-party computer. Like I can use your computer, or I can use someone's computer, and I can pay the rent or the usage charges based on my usage. That is what exactly the cloud in a simple statement. And if you go for any cloud, the cloud provider will give you the commitment of high availability, high reliability, and high security. What is the meaning of high availability? What is the meaning of a high availability? At any given point of time, your server or your services, don't get confused with the server. Server is nothing but like a computer, which is like some kind of a powerful computer. So they will maintain the server all the time up and running. Just example of a website, Google website, google.com. Whenever you try to access the website, anytime the website is accessible, right? It will never goes down. Sometimes it will goes, but that is called as a high availability. In theoretical, nobody will give you the 100% high availability. Nobody can give you 100% uptime. But how these cloud providers, like what kind of availability they will give you the commitment is, Amazon is providing you 99.99% of high availability. If you go for some Google and if you search for SLA 99.99%, it will give you less than 30 minutes of the downtime in a given year. If you take a 365 days, in the entire 365 days, there is a possibility of your server will be off for maximum like less than 30 minutes only. That is what 99.99%. That we will come in the next few sessions, what exactly and everything. Yes. Yeah. So now coming to this particular AWS, when this AWS was launched, any guess in which year the AWS was launched for the public? 2006. So before, like in 2004, Amazon, like AWS cloud launched, but not for public usage. They started developing the cloud and they started using for the internal purpose and everything. In 2006, they launched it for the public usage with very few services. I guess the first service available on the cloud is simple storage service, which is a data storage solution. That is the first service available on AWS cloud in 2006. At that time, there is no Azure, there is no Google Cloud and anything. And they are in the market since like 2006. That's why the Amazon captured the majority of the market in the real time. Like almost like as per the 2019's like a pre-COVID market survey, Amazon captured almost like 52% of the market. Like every 100 rupees of revenue generated on the cloud, 52 rupees was captured by the Amazon. Microsoft Azure stands at like 26 or 25, and then followed by Google. These three are the most popular clouds. Now, I mentioned a simple term called Amazon is going to provide you like 99.99% of availability, right? I mentioned that Amazon is going to provide you high availability. And already we discussed what is the meaning of availability. Then what is the meaning of a scalability and reliability? What is the meaning of a scalability? Like let us say I started one server, or I'm using some computer on the cloud. Today I created that with few resources, like with 2 GB of a RAM and 2 CPUs. After 1 week, I got a new requirement and the server must be run with more number of resources, like more GB and more CPU. If the cloud provider is able to provide you the additional resources in the existing server, then we can say that that is a highly scalable. This cloud provider is able to provide you the scalability, which is called as a high scalability. You can increase the resources, like you can increase the RAM, you can decrease the RAM, you can increase the number of CPUs, and you can decrease it. So we got some clarity, not 100% about what is the availability and what is the scalability. What is the term called reliability? What is the meaning of a reliability? I can say that like I can rely on that particular service or something. What is the meaning of that? I can trust, because if something goes wrong also, I don't lose anything. If they provide you that kind of a guarantee, then we can say that the service is reliable, right? I think everybody is using the internet nowadays, right? Broadband connection or something. What they can advertise? We are providing the highly reliable internet connection. That means they can assure that the internet connectivity will be available for the maximum time. You don't get some kind of internet connectivity out or downtime or something, right? In the same way, here the high reliability means, let us say every server will be located somewhere across the globe. As per our requirement, your server will be created like in India or US or somewhere. Assume that in that particular location, there is some kind of a floods or a power failure or some kind of fire accident, some kind of mishappened. In that case, how secure your data is or how reliable your data is. Are we going to lose any data, or are we able to recover all the data without losing that particular data which we store on the cloud? Based on that, how effectively we can recollect all the data. If you are going to lose the very minimum data, then we can say that the service is highly reliable. Assume that I stored like 1 terabyte of data in the cloud. I think everybody knows about the Google Drive, right? I think everybody is using it. What we can do with the Google Cloud? You can store your images, or you can store any kind of an object, and you can keep them as a private, or you can share with your friends. Assume that in the Google's data center or a Google server room, something fire accident happened. Are you going to lose the data, whatever you store in the Google Drive? No, because they will maintain the backup of all your data, not in the same location. In different locations, they will maintain. If one location got completely vanished, they can recover the data from a backup which is stored in a different location. And these locations are apart by like few miles, like 50 to 100 miles apart. Let us say one copy is in Hyderabad. The other copy might be in like Bangalore or somewhere, not that much distant, like few 100 kilometers apart. That's how they can maintain the reliability. Even in the worst case also, we were able to recover all the data from the cloud providers. We are not going to lose any data. If they are going to provide you all these kind of services, then we can say that the cloud is more reliable. Nowadays, every cloud provider is offering all these services. But how we are going to choose like which cloud provider is suitable for your requirement? depending on the market utilization. Let us say if more companies are using the one cloud, then we will get more opportunities on the technology, right? That is the first case. And the second case is like the community will be, the community help will be more. Let us say you got some issue while you are doing the training, or while you are learning, or while you are working, you got some issues. You don't know how to resolve it. So that there will be always a community who is going to help. Let us say there is one cloud, some XYZ cloud. Very few people are using that cloud. Then obviously we will have a limited help, right? So you have to go for some kind of a paid support plan or something. Otherwise, you don't get much community help. That is the one advantage with this AWS cloud. Now, even Microsoft Azure is also having the good community. More companies are using that also. Whatever the companies are using the Windows applications like .NET or something, they will prefer to go with Microsoft Azure because that is a Microsoft's own product, and they will prefer to use Microsoft Azure than the AWS. But the advantage with the AWS is on AWS platform, you can get more number of services, including the blockchain technology, robotics, machine learning, artificial intelligence. There are wide variety of services available which can fit into any organizational requirements. That is the one more advantage with the AWS cloud, that more companies are using the AWS. Okay, so now we have used different terms like AWS is going to provide you the availability, scalability, reliability. How they will provide you that? How they can provide you the high availability? Let us say I am maintaining one server and I give all of you access to store your data. And I can claim that whatever the data you store in my server, that data will be available at any time and you don't lose any data. That is what the commitment I am going to give you. Then what will be the first question? Anybody in the corporate, they will say that like, how can you maintain that high availability? Or how can you recover the data if something goes wrong? You go for any cloud, they will submit some white papers in which they will provide you all the details for their disaster recovery plan and for the high availability plans. 1 second, guys. Right. So whenever I claim like I'm going to provide you the high availability, first question you might ask will be, how can you maintain the high availability? What will happen if you have a power failure, right? So then I can claim like I am going to maintain a backup power. If still the backup power is not sufficient, I am going to maintain some kind of a power generators and all the things. Then your question will be, how can you maintain the reliability? Like your building is on fire. So how can you recover all the data? How can you secure the data? So I can say that whatever the data you store on my server, I can maintain the data in a different building, which is like 10 kilometers away. So in this situation, there is a very less chance that both the buildings will be on fire at the same time and we are going to lose all the data, right? In the same way, Amazon is going to maintain their infrastructure, which is going to be highly available, scalable, and reliable. Now, what is that infrastructure means? What is the meaning of infrastructure? I think whenever you hear something like whenever the new companies are coming for the investments, they will check for the infrastructure, right? What is that infrastructure means? Like the facilities, right? So coming to this cloud, the infrastructure means how they are going to maintain all the servers. Let us say I'm going to create one server in the cloud. It requires some CPU, memory, storage, networking, power supply. There are a lot of things, right? How Amazon is going to maintain that infrastructure? AWS is having the data centers across the globe. What is the data center means? The technical term is the data center. In general, we will call it as a server room. What is the server room means? The place where you will maintain all your servers. So in the data centers, Amazon will maintain the physical hardware like hard disk, RAM, CPU, networking devices like firewalls, switches, routers, everything will be maintained in that data center. If something went wrong in the data center, we are going to lose all your servers, right? That is the main problem. So to avoid such kind of situations, Amazon is going to maintain the infrastructure in an high availability manner. For that, they are going to rely on three different components. To maintain the Amazon's global infrastructure across the globe, they are going to use three terms called regions, availability zone, and edge location. These three are the most important things by using which you can get the availability, scalability, reliability, and one more term is performance. Performance, like whenever you are hosting a website, that website to be loaded with quickly, right, within like few milliseconds or something, that is possible with this global infrastructure. Now, what is that region means? What is that region? Region is a geographical location which contains multiple isolated data centers or multiple isolated availability zones. If you ask me like how it looks like, on Amazon platform in India, they do have one region. In AWS, as part of their global infrastructure, Amazon is having one region in India that is called as Mumbai region. I can say that this, wait a second guys. Amazon is having a region in Mumbai which contains multiple isolated data centers. What is the data center? Data center is the location in which all the physical servers are available. Assume that here this rectangular box is a region. Assume that this is a kind of a region which is in Mumbai. In this, they will maintain multiple data centers. Multiple isolated data centers. What is the meaning of isolation? They are not dependent on each other. Let us say this is the availability zone 1, 2, and this will be the 3. So here they will maintain the multiple servers. Here they will maintain multiple servers, and here they will maintain multiple servers. And all these are connected with high-speed network, optical network. What is the use of that? Let us say you created one server in the Amazon cloud. So here, let us say in the availability zone 1, your server is created here and it is running as expected and no issues. Suddenly, there is something wrong in the availability zone 1. Then what will happen? Your server is not available for access, right? So what they do is, the moment when you create your server, the copy of that particular server will be replicated to all the availability zones, like minimum 3 availability zones in the region. In this case, we have a 3, right? So across all the availability zones in this diagram, they will maintain the copy of your server's data. Whenever it is down, immediately your server will be up and running on one of these 2 availability zones. Also, they are maintaining the data as a backup in different locations. Based on that, you don't lose any data. And these are separated by like 100 miles. So one will be in the one side of the Hyderabad, and the second data availability zone or the data center will be on the other side of the Hyderabad. So there is a very less chance that all the availability zones or all the data centers will go down at a time. There is very less possibility that both will be on fire, or in both the locations, they will be having like some kind of earthquake or floods. That's how they will maintain. So we can define the region as, region is a geographical location which contains multiple isolated data centers. The data center is nothing but the location where all the physical resources are available. Resource is nothing but the CPU, everything which is required to create your server or a service. And now the next term is the availability zone. Availability zone is nothing but your data center. So I can say that this is your region. This is the region, a physical location or a geographical location. Assume that this will be the Mumbai. In India, we have only one region as of now. Recently, Amazon announced one more region in Hyderabad that will be available in the couple of years. Like it might take 2 or 3 years to make it operational. As of now, we have a region in Mumbai. In this Mumbai region, they do have 3 data centers. They do have 3 data centers. What is the data center? Data center is the location where all your physical resources are available. And each and every data center is connected with high-speed optical network. Why they need the high-speed optical network? If you modify some data in your server, the changes must be updated in the backups which are maintaining across all the availability zones or all the data centers, right? And these data centers are also called as availability zone. Data center is nothing but an availability zone. That is the technical term used by Amazon. Region is a physical geographical location which contains multiple isolated availability zones, multiple isolated data centers, and the data center is nothing but an availability zone. So based on this region and availability zone structure, they are going to provide you the high availability, reliability, and scalability. Then what is the use of this edge location? As of now, we have almost like 26 regions available across the globe. Mumbai 1, in the US, I think they do have 4, Singapore 1, Sydney, London, they do have different regions. Why? Because as per my company rules, I might need one server in US, but I am in India. Without going to US, how to create? If they have a data center in US, then whatever the server I create in the US data center, that will be located in the US region, because there are a lot of data compliancy rules. As per those compliancy rules, you have to follow those restrictions that you should not maintain the data outside of the US. If your client is US based, if your client is European based, then the data must be located in the European countries only. You cannot store their data on Indian servers. According to that, you have to select the region. And in each region, as of now, Amazon is going to maintain minimum 3 availability zones. 3 or more availability zones you can expect in every region. Mumbai, we have a 3. There is one region in US called Northern Virginia, which has a 6 availability zones. And the Northern Virginia region is the first region on Amazon Cloud, which was launched in 2006. It has the more demand, more load. Based on that, they are going to maintain more number of availability zones to fulfill all the requirements. And across all the regions, they do have almost like 84 availability zones. And then coming to the edge location, they have like 220 plus edge locations as of now. So now what is this edge location? Edge location is a content delivery network, or in a layman's term, we can say that a caching point. What is the cache? Have you ever heard about like browser's cache? What is the use, or what it will do? A browser's cache, what it will do? It will store the data for some time temporarily, right? Let us say I access yahoo.com in my browser. So that yahoo.com page will be displayed on my browser, and the home page will be stored in my browser's cache. So if I retry to access the same web page again, instead of loading the website from the web server, the web page will be loaded from my browser's cache. That is what exactly the caching means. So now here, what is the use of this edge location? The use of the edge location is, I think nowadays every website is like the performance is good. But if you go back to like 6 years or 7 years, like in 2010 or 2012, even though you are using the high speed internet, if you try to access any website, it might take like 3 seconds or 5 seconds to load the home page. What might be the reason? You have like high speed internet, but still the website is not loading properly. Or let me explain that in a different way. So whatever the websites are available in the internet, those websites has to be maintained somewhere across the globe, right? Let us say here I have a server and this server is in US. On that server, the web page is hosted. The website got hosted using some web servers. It can be a PHP or like Tomcat, Java, whatever it is, that doesn't matter. There is a website running on a server and the server is located in the US. There is one user who is trying to access the website and the web page is loaded, let us say in 5 milliseconds. 5 milliseconds, the web page got loaded. And this user is from US. And he is using 10 Mbps internet speed. 10 Mbps internet speed. Now, there is another user who is trying to access the same website from India. And let us say he is using 20 Mbps internet speed. And he is trying to access the same website. And in how much time he will be able to open the homepage? Let us say the website is yahoo.com. How much time it will take to load the web page? How much? 10 milliseconds. Why? This user is using 10 Mbps and the user is in the US. He is able to load within 5 milliseconds. There is another user in India. He is using double the internet speed, 2.5. I can say no, that's not correct. I can say he might take like 10 milliseconds to load. Any guess why? Or 10 milliseconds or more than 10 milliseconds? Any guess why? There is a term called latency. Have you ever heard about the latency or a ping? Whoever is playing some online games like a real, what we call that, real-time games, or in that case, they will give more preference to the ping. What is that ping means? Ping or latency, both are same, two different terms. What is that ping or latency? Okay, so what will happen whenever you're trying to access a website? You open your browser and you type yahoo.com in your browser's URL. What will happen the moment whenever you click on enter button? So this particular browser, a request will be sent. Request will be sent to the web server. Then the web server will receive your request that the user is trying to access the web page. Then the server will send a response. What is that response? The response contains the web page. The same thing for any user, but this user is very close to the web server. This user is very close to the server. So the time takes to send a request and to receive the response will be less. That is called as a 5 millisecond. This user is able to get a response within 5 milliseconds because he is very close to the server. But coming to this user is away from few thousands of kilometers. That's why to send a request and to receive the response, it will take more time. Response is nothing but the response contains the home page, the web page of that particular website. Whenever it is taking a lot of time to receive the response, the web page will be loaded with some delay. That's why even not only 20 Mbps, if you go with 1 Gbps also, it will take more than what he is getting. Because of this user is far away from this particular server. To avoid this kind of a situations, Amazon will use the concept of edge location. How this will improve the performance? Any guess? How can we improve the loading time for this user? What we can do to improve the web page load time? The only way is if the web page or the server is close to the user, then only the user will get the high performance, right? So here, instead of maintaining the servers across the globe, there is a concept called edge location. It's a kind of a caching point. Caching point means it will store the data, right? Across the globe, in the major cities, Amazon will maintain the edge location. So this user is from India, right? Let us say he is from Hyderabad, and assume that there is one edge location in Bangalore. What will happen here? The copy of the web page will be stored in the edge location. So whenever this user is trying to access the website, the web page will be loaded from the nearest edge location. So instead of sending the request all the way from India to US, he will be able to load the web page from the nearest edge location, which is in Bangalore or Hyderabad. So he, instead of 20 millisecond or 10 millisecond, he might be able to load the page within 5 millisecond or more than 5 millisecond, but it will not take like 10 milliseconds or 20 milliseconds. Even in the olden days, whenever you make some kind of STD calls or ISD calls, there will be some kind of a noise and a crosstalk, right? Because whatever the data you are sending, that has to travel a lot of distance, and there will be some weakness in the data. The strength will be weakened, and that's why you might lose some audio also. But now everything got sorted out, and they're using some kind of a technology where you can make the ISD calls with more clearer, like how you can make a local calls. In the same way, now they are using these kind of edge location concept to improve the performance of your websites. Nowadays, almost every website is using this kind of a concept. Amazon is using the term called edge location, but different companies might use a different names. But the concept will be the same, to improve the performance by maintaining the copy of the website across the globe in multiple locations. Based on this, Amazon is going to provide you the high availability, reliability, scalability, and also the performance. Whatever the things we are going to create on the AWS cloud, we are going to use this infrastructure. We are going to use this infrastructure to create a server, or to create a website, or to create a load balancer, or a database, or a storage. Everything will be running on this global infrastructure. Why they call it as a global infrastructure is they do have the infrastructure across the globe. In every continent, they are having their data centers. And every data center or every region is connected with high-speed optical cable. What is the use of an optical cable? The data can be transferred with high speeds, because in the optical cable, the data transfers will be in the form of light. And we know that light has the fastest speed and everything, right? That's why everybody is using the optical cables. But internally, whenever you have some kind of data transfers, we will use a normal cables. We call it as a LAN cable, right? They will support up to like 10 Gbps transfer speed also. But if you need more than that, like whenever they connect the different continents, whenever they are using like undersea cables, they will use this optical fiber cables. Okay, right. So now this is how the global infrastructure looks like. Just I will show you one thing. Just give me a second. So if you see the global infrastructure of the Amazon, they do provide an image. Give me a second. Okay, so here you can see this is the map which indicates the global infrastructure of the entire AWS cloud. Here you can see some green color region, green colored dots and orange colored dots, right? In India, you can see one orange and one green. Green is the existing region and orange is the coming soon, which they already announced and yet to launch. And if I hover the mouse on the green, you can see that is in Mumbai, which is launched in 2016, and it has a 3 availability zones. And then the orange, sorry, and they are nearby the Mumbai. They don't reveal that where exactly the location is, but the only thing say that they are separated by 100 kilometers away. Each and every availability zone is separated with 100 kilometers. One is in Pune, but officially they never announced that. One is in Pune. Okay. Always they will consider the locations where there are very less prone to the earthquakes, floods, and all these things. They don't prefer the places where they will like a coastal areas and everything, where they can expect the floods. Because in the olden days, whenever there is a flood, there will be a power cut for like multiple days, right? Like weeks to like 10 days or so. But now every major city is with like underground power cables. So that problem has been resolved. And then if you go to the US, here you can see there are almost like 7 green dots and 1 orange dot. Right? If you see here, this is like Northern California, which is launched in 2009. And on top of that, you can see there is one more called Oregon, which is launched in 2011. What is this orange color? That will be in Canada. Actually, somewhere here, the US border ends. The top 2 are Canada. This is Canada west side. And here it is the Canada central. And here somewhere, this is the Northern Virginia, which is the first region available on AWS platform, which is launched in 2006 with 6 availability zones. That we can discuss later. There are some other terms also like local zones, outpost. There are a few other terms that we can discuss based on the service. Whatever the service is required for the local zones and outpost wavelength zones, that we can discuss at that particular point of time. Okay. And then if you see in the US itself, what is this? I think whenever we discuss about the cloud computing basics, I mentioned that there is a community cloud, right? What is the community cloud? That cloud is only for some set of community only. This AWS government cloud, that is purely for US government organizations. You and me cannot create any servers in that particular cloud. You and I cannot create any servers or any services in that cloud unless you are working for an US government agencies. And on the right side also, on the east side also, they do have one government cloud that is also for the US government. In the same way, somewhere in China, they do have one cloud which is purely for the China nationals. Like if the company belongs to China, then they only can use that particular cloud. And they announce a lot of new regions, Spain, here Switzerland, and here in India, you can see there is only one. And in the Australia, they announced one more called Melbourne. These will be available in the next couple of years because they have to build the entire infrastructure, right? And they need to create the network, maintaining all the things. It will take like a couple of years to make that data center to be operational. And now, as per the Amazon's policy, every region is containing minimum 3 availability zones. That means the region consists of minimum 3 data centers in different locations in the same geographical area. Okay, right. So here, whenever we talk about the services, so from the next session onwards, we are going to start discussing about our server services, learning the things, right? To do all the practicals, we need one Amazon account because we don't do anything in our laptops. Just we will use the laptop as a mediator, like as a tool. Just we will use our tool to access our cloud. Whatever the server you create, whatever the users you create, everything will be created in the AWS cloud. To use that cloud, we must have one Amazon account. And I told you, like, whenever you use any service, Amazon will charge you based on the usage, right? But as a learner, as a beginner, how can we learn all these topics without getting charged? For that, Amazon is offering you an account called free tier account. In that Amazon free tier account, Amazon is going to provide you or offer you almost all services for free for a limited period. Not all services are free for 1 year. There are some categories. There is a free tier account, and whenever you create a new account, that account is eligible for 12 months for free tier. That will be considered as 12 months free tier account. So the new accounts are eligible for free tier for 12 months. Actually, not 12 months, frankly speaking. There are categories. One is 12 months free. And the second one is always free. And the third one is a free trial. Let us say, assume that on Amazon platform, you have a 200 services. Out of 200 services, let us say 50 services are always free. Like you can use those 50 services for free at any time. But that doesn't mean that unlimited free. They have some conditions. At that particular service, we will discuss about those conditions and we call it as a limit, free tier limit. And out of the remaining 150, let us say 100 services are free for 12 months. The first 12 months are those services are free. And the remaining services are available as a free trial. What is the free trial? Like first 30 days free, or there are few services which are free for only for the first 60 days, or few services free for the first 100 hours. There are different categories available. And there are few services which are not eligible for any of these free tier category. Let us say there is one service called in the database multi-AG deployment for high availability. If you use that, from the first minute onwards, you will be charged. So how can we avoid that kind of a charges? Every month you will get a bill. Once you got the bill, you have to create a support ticket in the Amazon cloud. You have to go to the support center and you need to create a ticket that you are using this Amazon account for practice purpose or learning purpose, so that they can give you the credit waiver. Let us say you got some $5 bill or $10 bill. They will give you the credit waiver. Like for sure, you can get for 2 to 3 times for free. Like they can give you the credit waiver. There is no doubt in that. And even sometimes I got the credit waiver for my account, which is more than 2 years old also. That means which is not free tier eligible. Even in that case also, I will get that kind of a credit waiver. So no need to worry if you got some bill. Sometimes accidentally we will forget to delete some things, right? In that case, you will get charged. No need to worry. At the end of the month, we can create a support ticket so that they will give you the credit waiver. So they will, what we call that? They will cancel the bill for that month. What do you mean by common public? Okay, so let us say I'm not working for any company, right? So I would like to use this cloud. Let us say I'm running a small business, like a kind of a grocery store or whatever it is. So I'm thinking of like maintaining one website so that I can do some online sales. So I need to maintain a website, right? To maintain that website, first I need to purchase one server and I need to get some kind of internet connection. A normal broadband will not support, because with the broadband connection, you don't get a public IP. I mean, a fixed public IP. Without a public IP, your server is not accessible. Without having a public IP, your server is not accessible by anyone. So for that, what we have to do is you have to take a leased line, which might cost you like per month, like 10,000 or something, with a 5 Mbps line also. And to purchase the server, it might cost you like a small server, not the medium. A small server might cost you like 4 lakhs or so. And that server must be up and running all the time. So you have to maintain a backup, power backup, and a power generator also, which will take you like huge initial investment, right? For a small business, I cannot afford that much initial capital investment. So what I do, I will go to the cloud. I can create one small server like with a 2 CPU, 8 GB of a RAM. Hardly I might get few rupees of bill per month, but everything will be taken care by the cloud. No need to worry about the operating system installation. No need to worry about the hardware failures, power failure, networking, internet connectivity. Everything will be on the Amazon's head. We don't do anything with that. Just you have to get your website from your developer. Just you have to deploy it. Your website will be up and running. And also your website might require a database, right, to store all the data. If you are maintaining all the database in your server, you need to maintain the database also. You have to install the database software. You have to configure it. You need to make it like highly performance. You have to tweak the settings, right? But if you use the cloud, all these kind of administration or the management will be on the cloud's hand. They will take care of all these things. That is the advantage. If you ask about the big companies, they do maintain like hundreds of servers, right? To maintain those many hundreds of servers, they need to use like a huge team to maintain the servers 24/7. And they need to spend an initial investment, like huge amount to procure the servers. And they will not give the like a kind of easy maintenance also. Upgrade is not that much easy, right? To avoid all these kind of headaches, everybody is preferring to use the cloud. Let us say suddenly you have a requirement of like 20 new servers for a new project. Within just few clicks and within just few minutes, you can launch all your servers in the cloud. To get the same 20 servers in your office, you have to wait for minimum 3 to 4 weeks, because you need to put an order. Then the servers will be delivered from the warehouse, which might take like minimum 3 to 4 weeks. So those are the advantages of the cloud. Okay, right. So quickly, what I do is just I will show you the details of the free tier account, so that in the tomorrow session we can see how to create the free tier account, what are the minimum requirements, what exactly we need to create the free tier account. Because recently Amazon changed their policy, and whatever the Amazon account doesn't have a valid address, they are suspending the Amazon accounts. Like they will put the account on the suspension, and they will ask you to submit the address proof, like utility bill or any kind of a bill. Earlier, what we do is we used to give some random address, postal address. Then they started verifying all the things, and like they don't do manually, they do have some kind of a tools. If I use the address as with a single number or single letter, that is not a valid, right? So they asked us to provide the utility bills. So to avoid those kind of things, always I recommend to use the proper address whenever you are creating the free tier account. Okay, so to get the free tier account details, go to the Amazon browser and type aws.amazon.com and /free. This is the URL at which you can get the free tier account details. Just for randomly, I will take few services and I will give you the limitations. If I say the storage is free, if I say the storage is eligible for free tier, that doesn't mean that you can store thousands of GB of a data, because the free tier account is intended for the practice purpose, right? So for the practice purpose, they have put some limits, like you have to store only maximum 5 GB of a data. For practice purpose and to practice all the features on the storage, like encryption or what we call that object log, we have a lot of features available. For all these things, hardly we need to upload 5 to 10 objects, which will not take few MBs of size. That's why I can say that we can take the advantage of the free tier account to complete all our practicals with very minimum bill, and that bill can be waived off by the Amazon support if you create a request. Okay, if you go to that particular URL, aws.amazon.com /free, it will take you to a page where you can get the complete details of the free tier account. In this free tier account, whenever you create a new account, automatically it will be considered as a free tier for the next 12 months. In that, all the services are available in these 3 categories: free trial, 12 months free, and always free. What is the meaning of always free is you can use those services at free of cost at any time, like after 10 years or after 5 years also, those services are available for free. That free tier offer will not expire. And the 12 months free means, let us say if I create in June, so the next year till June, my account will be available to use those services for free. Free trial, that will be varied depending on the topic. So if you scroll down further, you can see there is a one service called Amazon EC2, right? By using that EC2, you can create some servers. Server is nothing but a kind of a computer, but it has some different CPU and memory. Okay, right. So can I create a server using the free tier account with a 4 CPU and 16 GB of memory? No, you cannot. If you create in that way, you will be charged. They have a limitation that they will provide you some instance types. Here there is a thing called T2.micro, right? T2.micro or T3.micro. No need to worry. In the EC2 concept, we will discuss about what is the T2.micro. That is a kind of an instance type which defines the family and the resources. In the micro, T2.micro, you will get one CPU and 1 GB of RAM. Like to learn how to create the server, how to log in, how to use it, that is enough, right? For production purpose, the CPU and memory is not sufficient. For learning purpose, that is more than enough. And also, can I create 100 such type of servers? Yes, you can, but the per month utilization should not exceed 750 hours. Let us say you created 750 servers. If you delete all the 750 hours in less than 1 hour, then you will not be charged, because all the servers you have run for 1 hour. If you create 750 servers, all the servers individually will consume 1 hour. Cumulatively, it will consume all the 750 hours, right? So you will be done with the free usage for that month. Every month you will get 750 hours. Let us say you created one server today and you use it for 1 hour and you deleted it. So that from the 750 hours, 1 hour will be deducted and you will have the remaining 749 hours to use in that month. Once a new month starts, again that you will get 750 hours in your account. Every month the limitation is 750 hours. And if you see, there is one service called Amazon S3, which is also 12 months free. That is a kind of a storage service where you can store your data. Here the limitation is you can store maximum 5 GB of a data. You cannot store more than, if you store more than 5 GB, for the additional storage, you will be charged. Hardly you can upload like few KBs of files. You can upload some text file, or you can upload some image file for practice purpose, like how to upload, how to download, or how to enable encryption, or how to enable locks, or how to enable the replication, lifecycle rules. We have a lot of features available. For all these things, just we need some object which can be a few bytes or few kilobytes. So we will never exceed that 5 GB of the free limit. And also I told you, like, there are some services which are always free. There is one database called DynamoDB, which is a type of a NoSQL database that is always free. After 2 years also, you can use the DynamoDB without any additional cost. But the limitation is you cannot store more than 25 GB. Okay, also I would like to show you some service which is a category of free trial. There is one service called free trial category. That is also a type of a database, Amazon Redshift, but that's a data warehousing tool. What is that? It is a 2-month free trial. The moment once you start using the Redshift service, you will get 2 months trial. For that 2-month trial, you will not be charged. Again, here you have a limitation of 750 hours, 750 hours per month, and the next 2 hours. If you use more than 750 hours, you will be charged. And if I select that free trial, you can see the trial category services. Amazon SageMaker, which is a machine learning tool. Amazon Redshift, Lightsail, it's a kind of a virtual private server. This is available for 3 months free trial. And there is one thing called only 15 days free trial. Only 15 days free trial. And there is one thing called 3 million characters. That means the code, whatever you write in the machine learning, if the code exceeds 3 million characters, like space is 1 character, a letter A is 1 character, right? If the code exceeds 3 million characters, then you will be charged. Always, whatever the service is available, you can use that for no charges for the practice purpose. Might be the free trial might not be useful for the production purpose, but for the practice and learning purpose, this free trial account is more than enough for us. Okay, so in the next session, we will see how to create the free tier account. And the account creation is not only the thing, we have to secure the free tier account. What kind of security? Let us say if you have a Gmail, everybody is using some kind of email address, right? How can you log into your email address? By providing the email address and password. Do you think that your Gmail is secure? No, because at some point, someone might guess your password, right? Like let us say if your friend, they might click on forget password, and whatever the security questions you have used, he might know the answers, right? Or they will use some kind of a dictionary attacks or something. Randomly, they can guess the password and they can log into your account. So what is the alternative way to secure your accounts? How can we avoid such kind of issues, and how can we secure our Amazon or any account, not only the Amazon? Multi-factor authentication. What is that multi-factor authentication means? I think everybody might use that at some point. Wherever you do some kind of a transactions, banking transactions, you will log in using your email, your customer ID and password, right? That is the actual authentication. But whenever you do some transaction, they will ask you to enter the one-time password, one-time code, right? 6-digit code. That is not the fixed one. Every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes that will be changing, right? Nobody can guess that code. That is the second step verification. We call it as a multi-factor authentication or two-step verification or two-step validation. That is what we have to enable on our accounts. Even Gmail also supports that multi-factor authentication. You can enable that. So tomorrow we can create our Amazon account. We will enable our multi-factor authentication. And to be on safer side, we will create billing alarm. What is that alarm? If something goes wrong, it will give you some alert, right? So always, whenever I create an account for the practice purpose, I use it to create an alert or alarm for $5. Whenever, or you can go for $2 also. So whenever your estimated charges for the month is going to exceed the $2 or $3, it will send you one email alert so that you can log into your Amazon account and you can delete all unwanted services. Especially that billing alarm is useful for the practice accounts, because for learning purpose, we don't want to pay the money, right? That's why we have to create that billing alarm. And we will see some other security measures also. In general, what we have to do on your account. All these things we can cover in the tomorrow's session. Okay. Always like I recommend whatever the practicals we see in the class, you have to do the same thing on your account so that you can remember the concepts easily. If you think like after 1 month, I can start the practicals. After 1 month, you can forget the first topics what we discussed. Okay. All right. So before closing the session, are you guys clear on this global infrastructure or any questions on this? Yes, actually, the let us say Yahoo is website is available in like somewhere in the US. So whenever I try to access from here, my request has to send from here to US. It's too far, right? So it will take some time. Let us say it will take 5 seconds, because in between my laptop and the web server, there are a lot of routers, there are a lot of routing tables and everything. Obviously, the response will be delayed. So to load that page, it might take like 5 seconds or 10 seconds. If they configure that kind of a caching across the globe, they will maintain the copy of their website like in the major cities. Let us say in Hyderabad, they maintain a copy of the website. So what will happen? Instead of sending my request to the US, my browser will communicate with the nearest edge location or nearest caching point to load that yahoo.com website. So obviously it will take less time to load the web page. That is what the caching or content delivery network. That's how the edge locations works. That is a simple example. Apart from that, there are a lot of features of the content delivery network, like edge locations. Not only this, for the databases, we will use that to improve the performance of that. And there is a concept called a CloudFront. In that CloudFront also that will be used. At that particular point of services, we will discuss about those edge location, region, and availability zone. And there is no concept without using the region and availability zones. Only there are 2 or 3 services available. Apart from that, every service will use the region and edge location concept. Because I would like to create a server. Without using the infrastructure, where I can create the server, right? So that's why the global infrastructure is mandatory for almost all services. No. What do you mean by all the locations? Okay, technically region and availability zone. You're talking about region or availability zone? No, they don't store across the regions. The reason is, let us say I'm like a US based company. As per my country, I have some kind of rules that I should not store the data outside of the US, right? So that's the reason they never store the data automatically in a different region without your request. There are some services that is not possible. Entire US means in the US, Amazon is having totally 3 regions. In every region, they do have 3 or more availability zones, which are like separated by 100 miles away. So, which is not possible. Like whatever you mentioned, that case is highly impossible. Even if the 2 availability zone goes down also, the 3rd availability zone will provide the service. It will be available. Like the question is like, what will happen after the 12 months? I stored some data in the storage, like 1 GB of a data, which is less than the free tier limit. So for the first 12 months, I will not be charged. What will happen after 12 months? The account is going to be deleted automatically? No. After 12 months, Amazon will start billing you for the services what you utilize. So you have to delete all the services, all the data from the cloud to not to get charged. Amazon will never delete any of your data. Okay, any other questions? Sorry? Yeah, that depends on the server capacity. Let us say not only the website. If you see these online stores will announce some deals, right? Suddenly you will get pages not getting loaded or something went wrong kind of a thing. So servers based on the capacity, that server might support only 1,000 users at a time or so. If the more than 1,000 users are accessing at the given second, the performance will goes down. But what if there are like 5,000 users are accessing? Definitely the web page is not loaded. The server cannot be able to handle the request and it cannot send the response. To handle the situation, we have a concept called auto scaling. Whenever the CPU is going more than so much, or whenever there are like more than 100 users or 1,000 users, automatically the resources will be increased using the service called auto scaling. That's how you can avoid those kind of situations. Like for understanding, like CPU is there, right? For every server, there will be some CPU utilization. Whenever the CPU utilization is less than 60% or 70%, performance will be good. Whenever it goes more than 80%, even in your laptop also, you cannot open the things properly, right? If you click something, it will take a lot of time to open. So you can configure something like, when if the CPU is going more than 70%, instantly it will increase the resources. It will improve the number of CPU or RAM. So actually, it has a lot of things to discuss. Like instead of increasing that, what it will do is it will create the exact replica of the server. In front of that, it will create a load balancer, and the load will be distributed across multiple servers. That's how the performance of the servers will be improved. that will be covered in the auto scaling and the load balance. That's not how. Depends on the availability zones. If they do have 3 availability zones, so they will have like 100-kilometer radius also. If they have 6, then it will be extended by something else, because they will maintain that every data center to be separated by 100 kilometers also. What's the question? 3 is the minimum, not 3. 3 is the minimum. Like let us say in the Hyderabad, one data center is in like LB Nagar. One more data center will be in Patancheru. One more data center will be in somewhere else. Like that's like they will choose the locations which will not be impacted by those kind of situations. Always they will select the locations which are less prone to the earthquakes and the cyclones. Yes, but whatever the location they have taken, at that time, the Pune is the, I mean, the Mumbai region is the popular for that IT. Like they decided to select that one. You can see, sorry. That's what I'm saying. They will choose like even, actually they have to set the first data center in Hyderabad, but they have selected the Pune. I mean, the Mumbai, they name it as a Mumbai, right? But even though it is near to the sea, they will select the location which is not impacted by those cyclones. Actually, the Hyderabad is the best place for those kind of a data centers. It is less to cyclones. Like maybe in some areas there will be floods, but there are a lot of areas in the Hyderabad that which is not affected by the cyclones. Even there is a huge rainfall also, it will not be drenched, or there will be no water logging and all the things. They will consider those kind of places. By considering like one place in Hyderabad, if with the small rain also, there will be a water logging. That's not the situation in the every location of the Hyderabad, right? They will consider those kind of things. Their first priority will be like very less prone to the earthquakes, then the cyclones. Always the cyclones are like more at the sea, coastal area, right? And the cyclones are only for like the power failures, but now they do have some underground power cables and everything, and the cyclones will not affect. That's why they will take the consideration of the Pune as a data center, like Mumbai. We never buy the servers in Amazon, just we will take for a rent. Okay. Okay. Like Amazon will never intimate. There are some kind of a monitoring tools available. There is a service called CloudWatch, by using which you can monitor your server resources. Like what is the CPU utilization, how much data, how much disk space available. Okay, by using that service, you can configure some alerts. Like what is the alert? If the CPU is going more than 80%, it will trigger an email alert. You will receive an email that the CPU utilization on so on the server is more than 80%. So you can log in and you can check and you can resolve the issue. That's how it works. If you don't configure, Amazon will never inform you about that. Yeah, whatever the servers you create in one region, that server's data will be maintained as a backup in the same region across different availability zones. Okay, it will never replicate the data, or they will never copy your data in a different geographical location called region, due to some data compliancy rules and data compliancy laws. Okay, all right. Any other questions? Already, like most of the companies are started using the cloud, and majority of the companies are migrating because of the maintenance and the initial investment. For the next few decades, the market will be for the cloud. But whenever you go for like more than like 4 years or 5 years of experience, only cloud is not sufficient. You need some kind of advanced technology also, like DevOps or something. Even if you go for a job like 4 years of experience on AWS, definitely they will ask you for the DevOps or something else. If you got more than 4 years of experience, AWS alone is not sufficient. You need something else like DevOps or a machine learning or a data science, something else you need. But for like up to 4 years, AWS is okay. Alone AWS is enough. But once you got like enough experience, like for more than 4+, along with AWS, you need something else, or otherwise you cannot survive in the market. But nowadays, AWS plus DevOps, like any cloud technology plus DevOps is the most demanding technology in the market. Like AWS plus DevOps or Azure plus DevOps. I think I never seen like Google Cloud plus DevOps as of now. Might be in the future, it might come out. But as of now, only the AWS and Azure has the more market in the like companies and everything is using that these two AWS and Azure clouds. What do you mean by how much? Like how many? Frankly speaking, like 90%, 80 to 90% of the every company's requirements will be fulfilled with any of the cloud. Let us say I'm using AWS. Almost every required service is available on the AWS cloud. We will use for my company, we will use Azure for Active Directory, like centralized user accounts and everything. We will use the Azure cloud because the Azure has their proprietary Active Directory services, which is the most commonly used user database. Like I can say up to 90% of your organizational requirements can be fulfilled with any cloud. It can be AWS or Azure. Up to like 2 to 3 years, up to 3 years, you can survive with single AWS technology. But if you're going more than 4, definitely. Up to 2 to 3, that means including a fresher. If you are going as a fresher, no need to have any other skills. Career gap means like instead of that, I think like you can go like you are shifting your career. Then you have to go as a fresher only. Fresher only is possible because if you do some like if you claim like a fake experience or something, you cannot survive. Two months in the sense like 60 classes. So obviously we'll go more than 2 months because Sundays we don't have a class, right? In the 2 months we will have 8 days. In the 60 classes, we will complete all the topics. After that, we will have something like question and answers or some kind of a project deployment, right? It will take like few more days extra. So whatever they said, that will be covered the actual services. After that, whoever is interested, they will come. Like, sorry? What task in the sense, everything like server creation, services, we will share the PDF document, what all the topics we are going to cover. And also one more thing, like whoever missed the previous demo sessions and the introduction classes, you can send a WhatsApp message to this number. Like he's a admin who is going to take care of the AWS class. Just mention that for 6 p.m. AWS batch by Fani Krishna, so that they can share the demo videos, like whatever the classes we have done in the last sessions. Go through the topics once. That's our introduction classes only. That is nowhere related with AWS. Okay, so go through the videos, and if you have any questions, like you can ask me in the tomorrow's session. Okay, right. Any other questions? I think you can check with the admin. I think you can come. I mean, like, what is your plan? Like a few offline classes and few online classes. That you have to definitely check with them whether it is possible or not. Like if you attend for few classes offline and later if you would like to convert to online, they can allow. But like alternative days, if you would like to come offline, online, I'm not sure. We have to check with them. Completely, if you want to migrate like after a few days, you can. That's for sure. Practice like every service, I will show you practically in the class and you can practice in the lab. So there will yes, free tier account. Every topic we are going to practice on the free tier account only. Every topic we are going to practice the free tier account. And if you have any questions while you're doing the practical, you can ask me in the next session, or we are going to maintain a Telegram group. In that also you can take the error message and you can post the screenshot so that I can help you on that. Okay. Yes, you can. You can bring the laptop to the class, but I don't think like they can provide you the internet. You have to use your own like a mobile hotspot or something. That you can check with the there is a placement group. There you can check like I don't know like which year you passed out. 2016 MTech. That you have to check with the placement group. There is a separate team for that placement process. A name like that will be available in the main office. No, he's asking about the placement team. There is a separate placement team who will bring the campus placements and everything. So they can help you on that. Like they can give you the complete details and the exact details. But in the outside market, you can try, no issues. But if you are going with them, you have to check, because sometimes whatever the placements they bring, they do have some requirements like only like from 2018 passed outs or so as a fresher. As a fresher only, because a completely different technology, right? Earlier you are completely from a civil or something. So they never consider that. They will consider you as a fresher only. Right now, there are huge openings in the market, not only for AWS. You can take any technology. There are a huge demand, and sometimes the companies are not getting the candidates also. Like not for fresher, for experience, like 2-3 years experience. Even they give the offer letter, they are not coming to join. They are not willing to join, because based on that, they are getting the more than what they offer in the current company. That's how the demand in the market right now. Like after the COVID, there's a huge demand in the entire Indian market for the IT. Yes. Every topic, what we discuss, that's with the hands-on practice only. Because AWS is completely more into the practical. Theoretically, there's a very less topics, like hardly 20 minutes of theory. The remaining 1 hour will be the practical. It doesn't require any programming. We don't need any coding or any program. Somewhere we will use only in one topic, we will use a JSON script. That also we don't write. There will be a tool. We have to select the requirement. Automatically, the script will be generated. That is only to create some policies where we can use the policy to provide the permissions to the users. That is the only place where we use the code. But that also we don't write the code. The ready-made code will be available that we have to use it. No need of any prerequisites to learn AWS. And also no need of having any high-end laptop or something. A basic laptop with internet connection is enough. Like whatever the laptop you use to browse the internet, that is enough. Even as i3 with 4 GB, that's enough. No need to have like i5 or i7, because we don't install or we don't run any in our computers. And most of the people will ignore the Linux classes, but I recommend to attend the Linux classes also, because along with this AWS, they provide the Linux, right? Timing they will announce. Definitely not this timing. They will have a different timings. 4 p.m. Okay. I think that's a new batch started or about to start, right? But every 15 days, they will start a new Linux batch from 10th June. 10th June. Okay. After 15 days, one more batch will start like in the morning or something. Whatever the time is convenient, you can go for that. Or you can go simultaneously, or you can go one after one also. That doesn't matter. But at least attend the Linux classes, complete Linux classes, and try to get some basic knowledge. Basic knowledge is required for the job purpose, not required to learn AWS. For job purpose, Linux basics is mandatory. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Okay, so if you guys are clear, you guys can leave. If you have any questions, you can wait and you can ask. Thank you, everyone. We'll continue tomorrow.